you are inviting them to come and watch. We are always learning something new, and so just click on the share and make sure that you are sharing it to your friends and your loved ones. Today we are talking about whether we should focus on our passion, what we are passionate about, or we should consider more of what is out there in demand. Many a time you see a lot of young people and they would be saying that, well, it's good to follow your passion, good to follow your dreams and all those things. Now, is that what we should do, or we should rather look at what is out there in demand and to be able to seize those opportunities? What are the trade-offs? And so that is what we are going to discuss here today, and we would need your opinion as much as possible. And so don't just share. After sharing, make sure that you are also inviting your friends and your loved ones, especially the younger ones, those in college, in high school, and maybe you've even graduated from college. This topic is very relevant for you. And it's not only about that, it also works even at the workplace in terms of your ministry. So I know that we can apply this topic and whatever we have to learn here today to different aspects of our lives. And so don't deprive your friends and your loved ones of this opportunity to get to learn about this important subject. And so today, to help me discuss this topic, I have with me Eugene Agyei. Eugene, you are welcome to Roundtable once again.
All right, thank you very much, Harrison. Thank you for having me on your show.
All right, great to have you. And my second panelist is, of course, you, the viewer, because we're all talking about this together. And so make sure that you're also sharing your opinions, your questions, so that we would get to read them and discuss all of them as the show progresses. And so that is what I would encourage you to do. So, Eugene, coming to you, we are asking ourselves about whether people should follow, or for those people who are asking themselves, should I follow my passion, or should I follow what is out there, that which is in demand or is most relevant? I'm trying to shy away from using the word relevant, because people would say that what they are passionate about is also relevant, but then it's more about the demand for that relevance. So we hear these so many times, and I know you know this. Why do you think, first of all, why do you think that people are bound to follow either their passion or just the demand? What scenarios that would prompt people to want to say that, okay, I'm going with my passion? And then what scenario do people tend to want to go after the demand, in your opinion?
Okay, thank you once again, Harrison. And let me start with demand based on my background because I know more on demand, right? If you talk about demand, you are looking at two sectors of, let's say, two parts of things, right? What you produce and what people are willing to pay for, right? So let's say if I produce maybe one or two goods or services. So the question now comes is what I produce is in a high demand. Are people willing to pay money for it? So that is in the context of demand, right? I supply something. Are people willing to purchase my services? Are people willing to pay money, right? To demand, like to buy it. That is what we say in the context of demand. Like you're going to place a monetary value on your goods and services, right? So now that is one aspect. So now you say, now let's come to passion, right? Like passion is maybe you have like like it's a desire, right? Like you desire to do something, right? And let me just read something on passion. What people passion represents a desire to pursue a goal through an identified role. Let's say somebody is passionate about sports, somebody is passionate about school, like like they have that desire, that will to do something. Now the question comes to what you are passionate about, what you are willing to do, what you are like you are putting in so much energy, so much effort, so much time. Is it, can you sell it to people? Are people willing to purchase it? Right? Is the time that you are putting into that thing you are so passionate about, is it worth it in the context of today? Right? So that is how we should situate the problem. It's not about being passionate. Or we're all passionate about certain things. But what I'm passionate about, if are people willing to purchase it? Like, will somebody say, "Hey, Mr. Eugene, I like you're passionate about this thing, and this thing that you brought, you want to buy it, right?" That gives you that kind of encouragement for you to like for you to develop a passion more for the thing and produce more and devote more time, right? So now let me go. So for passion, as people, passion is part of us, and we cannot say we don't have passion for anything. Of course, I have passion for so many things. We like what we do. I want to see what we have passion about, like being high demand and stuff. But it is up to the consumers to determine if what you are passionate about is relevant or not relevant. Well, you can't say what you're passionate about is not relevant because you are putting in time and effort, right? But as to whether people are in need of it is another thing altogether. So your passion must be situated in a context where it is needed. What do you get what I'm trying to say? Your passion must
Yes, I do.
be situated in a context in which it is needed so that your efforts and your time wouldn't be in vain. But at the end of the day, if what you are so much passionate about is not in, well, let me use this word, is not relevant, maybe maybe immediately it is not relevant, but in the future too, it's not relevant. So it's like it's just a waste of time. You're just passionate about something that is not needed, right? Yes, because sometimes the thing isn't relevant now, but in the future it will be in high demand. So it depends upon how you studied, like you studied your you studied your consumers or something that people that you are targeting, and you see that, oh, what I'm doing now in the next 20 or 30 years, I see now people don't really buy my idea, but maybe in the next 10 or 20 years, I think people will buy into it and stuff like that. But if you don't foresee that, and maybe in the next 30 or 40 years, people are not too interested in what you are doing. And I think the passion is fruitless because it's just a waste of time. Like it's just wasting your time. Yes, that is what I have to say on that.
Hmm. Interesting. So the passion must have relevance, and there should be a
Yes,
demand for the thing you are passionate about. Okay,
yes.
so why do you think that there are some people who are passionate about a particular thing and they are seeing that, well, there's no demand for this, but they still stuck to that thing because they are passionate about it? Why do you think that people do that? Is it because of
Well,
hope or what?
no, this is this is behavior. This is the behavior of a person. Like is an inherent nature of in people. Like they realize they put in so much effort into this thing, and it all comes down to change as well. Now sometimes change is very difficult, right? You spend so much time and effort on something, and to see it go down the drain. So now you are trying to push. You're trying to you're trying to put in all your resources to make sure this thing becomes successful, right? So people get stuck to something not because they want to get like I don't want to get stuck to it, but they see the number of the energy, the effort, the time that they've invested, the kind of investment, the kind of money that has gone into it, since all going down the drain, just like that. It's like then, oh, let me give it another try. Let me give it another try. Let me give it another try. You see, they keep on trying. Like they give themselves that kind of self encouragement. They encourage themselves, like in right, yeah, right, like he tickles himself and he's laughing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like yes, he gives himself that kind of encouragement. He's going to be successful. Oh yes, and maybe you have one or two friends encouraging him or her. That don't give up. Don't give up. It's going to be well. But the other people, sometimes people say that, oh, be optimistic. These friends who are they are pessimistic. They don't want your success. They don't want you to progress. You have two school of thoughts. You have friends who try to urge you on. Oh, have that kind of encourage, have that kind of passion for it. Like you invested so much, you're optimistic. It's going to go well. You have some like Christians will be there trying to encourage you. Don't give up. Pray about it, right? So you have different school of thoughts coming to you, and it depends on where you sit, where you try to associate yourself. If you become too optimistic and you don't want to give up, then you see you keep on pushing, you keep on pushing, and you say they'll pray until something happens, right? They'll keep on praying, and they'll put in 10 times the effort that they put in previously, right? But if the thing is not in high demand, if the thing is not needed, right? Maybe sometime, maybe one or two people you see the effort they are putting in and try to show some kind of reward like towards you, and you see maybe, and yes, you see some people like, okay, he's putting so much effort, let's try to reward his efforts, and maybe they'll try to maybe place some kind of monetary value on on what you have, but that doesn't actually solve the problem. Let's take for instance people who are into IT and coding these days. If you are passionate about coding and you are passionate about IT, you are in demand. You are in high demand. You are relevant in the market, right? Your passion will earn you a lot of money, a lot of success. People want you. I was listening to Jack Ma one time, and I think that was last week, and he told me when he started Alibaba, right, in China, there was no internet in China at that time. He says in the early 90s. There was no internet in China. So he went to register his company. It says internet. He said something internet, and they were like, "Oh, there's no internet in China. So how can you register a company called internet when there's no internet in China?" But he knew there was internet outside China, and he has some knowledge about internet. Right? He knew that with time, internet will catch up to China, and if it catches up, you'll be one of the first people to get hooked up onto it. And he says when he registered his company, after 3 or 6 months, internet came to China. Right. So the internet arrived in China, but he had already registered his company. He said he wanted to do e-commerce. E-commerce. The internet came and he started working from his bedroom. He says in the first 10 years it was very tough, but he didn't give up, right? Because he knew e-commerce, like buying and selling on the internet, was something that wasn't in China at that time, but it was happening elsewhere in the world, right? So that time you see that you see that there's a glimpse of hope, right? The world needs it, and the world is using it, but in your society or in your community, people are not using it. So for that one, you can say that, oh, maybe let me give myself this time. It's going to be difficult, but with time, when people accept the idea, it's going to boom. That is different from when you know what you are doing is already in the system already. People know it. It's already like it's already there, and the relevance is dying. But you're passionate about something, where the relevance is already dying, than something that the relevance is growing. So these are these are the differences. It depends upon what your passion is, right? And where you are investing your efforts. If your efforts are in growing businesses, which have not yet gained roots, then I'll urge you to follow your passions. But if your passion is in an industry which is dwindling, which is not in high demand at the moment, then I'll advise you to shift focus. That is the two
I
schools.
see. Yeah,
So that is
continue.
the two school of thought, right? You should align yourself to the future or to the present, but you don't align yourself to the past because people have already done it. So you think you do it and it becomes successful because maybe the interest in it is declining with time, right? So that's what another message I got from Jack Ma. He had that information that e-commerce is starting, like internet is already in the Western world, but it has not arrived in China. And he foresaw that no, I think maybe in the next 30 years. He says for the first 10 years his business was in his bedroom, right? And it wasn't growing, but he was very optimistic. Like he was going to get successful because the industry wasn't actually present in China at that time, right? That is it. But so with effort and with time and with a little support from people and people who buy into the idea, it can become successful, but not in an industry which is losing relevance or losing focus. And you're passionate about something that is already dying. Are you going to revive the industry? Like, so the question that I'll ask you, other person, are you trying to revive a dying industry? Right? An industry that is already there, are you trying to revive it? And that's and that is different. And that kind of discussion is quite different. If you're trying to revive a dying industry, then you need to whip up the interest of people. Previously, you need to use the previous demands as a case study, not something that people are chasing after, like IT and stuff like this, IT software and those kind of things. These are things that people are chasing after. This is the world that we live in. So if you're passionate about these kind of things, then I'll urge you. And there are other things too that are in high demand. If you're passionate about things that are in high demand, like let's say the health sector, let's say education, right? People go to school. I'm passionate. No, I don't want to. I don't want to do. I don't want to. Maybe it says I don't want to do nursing. I want to do a program that is not in high demand. A program that is less relevant on the market, on the job market. At the end of the day, your passion, people must pay money to purchase your passion. That is the bottom end. That's the bottom line. Your passion must be monetized. You must get, you must, I don't know, you must pay your bills. We live in a society where you must pay your bills, you must pay your taxes. You must, if you have a family, you must take care of your family. You have societal responsibilities, right? So your passion must be relevant in a context where it meets the demand, it meets the needs of society, right? Your passion must be able to take care of you, yourself. Society must see you relevant. Your community must accept you, right? And if all these things, if your passion doesn't meet all these kind of relevance criteria, right? You go to school, you come out, you don't have a job. Well, the program you study, nobody wants to employ you, right? Because you didn't take a course or classes that will make you, that put you on a pedestal, that will make you very, that will put you in need, like in demand, right? As against somebody. Me, I always use nursing as an example. Nurses are always in high demand. But one day in the house, even there's coronavirus. In the next 1,000 years, we don't know what is coming, right? You need pharmacists, you need doctors, right? So these are jobs that will stay with us forever and ever. And if you're passionate about something like this, you know, when you complete from school, you get a job to do, right? You can, if you have a family, these jobs can take care of you and your family. right? Well, people say that, oh, then you are not being, you're not like, you are an average person. You are not an overachiever, right? Sometimes you don't have to be an overachiever to be successful. You do little things that can make you, that can bring you success. And now in this kind of environment we live in, you don't have to do one kind of job. You can follow your passion and do other stuff, other stuff as well. You put yourself in high demand, and whilst you are in demand, you try to follow your passion and try to build upon it. So if your passion doesn't give you that kind of monetary value, you can always fall on something that gives you that kind of monetary value or something. And let me just add this: passion. You can't make somebody passionate about something, right? You can't say, oh, I'm forcing you to be passionate about this thing. No, passion is an inherent thing. But you can you can develop somebody's interest in something. That is why sometimes when kids are growing up, I remember when you're growing up back home in primary school, they will be like, what do you want to do in the future? Somebody say, I want to be a doctor. Somebody say, I want to be a pilot. Somebody say, I want to be a teacher. And other people will mention some kind of jobs, and the teacher will be like, no, 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 this is not good. Oh, the teacher say, this job is not good because they see that the relevance is not there. It's like the, I don't know how to put the demand for that thing is not there. So at the end of the day, even if you do it, you will be successful in the future. Like you're gonna go, like you'll be broke at the end of the day. Like it will be effort gone waste. Right. So I know I've been talking a lot, so I think let me just have a
Interesting. Let me take some comments. Mrs. Kofi says, passion can make you happy, but will it pay your bills? LOL. Eugene, a miracle could happen whereby that passion will be relevant too. That's funny. I feel those people should have more their passion in addition to something more lucrative, just in case the other one doesn't work. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. First 10 years, patience and perseverance is definitely the key. Great points. You can follow the demand and also your passion. If, like, saying, if your passion isn't relevant and so doesn't fetch a lot of income, at least the job or business that is in demand will help you build what you are passionate about. You will need scientists. The Bible talks about pestilence in the end times, so be rest assured that dot dot dot. Let me end here, please. Please end there. But of course, we know, like Eugene was saying, can you fall on the wealth of your family or spouse and follow your passion wholeheartedly? Hey, well, that's an interesting question from someone. Hmm. Well, Eugene, let's try and answer this before I ask you my next question. Rani
okay.
is asking, can you fall on the wealth of your family or spouse and follow your passion wholeheartedly?
You know, in order to pursue your dreams, like sometimes you need a lot of money, like a lot of investments into it, right? And if you have that kind of financial backbone, right? Sometimes that is where advertisement comes in. Advertisement. It's not that the passion or the your service is not in high demand, but sometimes your ability to market your product for people to like it is one thing, right? So if and most people who are successful, right? If you trace their background, like most people, they had some kind of support from certain people. Maybe they wouldn't come out to say it. Maybe they wouldn't come out in their interviews. They wouldn't voice it out for you to know that, oh, hey, or I was struggling, but I got this kind of support from this person or that kind of support from that person. I know this Aliko Dangote before he got Aliko Dangote. he was given monopoly over most of the products in Nigeria, right? So the then president Olusegun Obasanjo gave him monopoly power, right? If I give you monopoly power, you become the dominant market force. You don't have any competitors, so you can easily enjoy economies of scale over the years, right? So that is it. And to run this question, if the other kind of like so the other kind of this kind of financial support, this kind of systems working for you, well, you can follow your passion. But at the end of the day, the money is there. You can pay your way through the system. You can go onto you can get a big platform to market your dreams, and you reach a lot of audience. So the more audience you get, the more people, the more interest that develops, right? And if you get billionaires who support your cause, they push your agenda. So the issue of money can do a lot of things. If your financial support, you can follow your passion. For that one, yes. If you have that financial strength, and you don't have to you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat tomorrow and stuff like that, you're good to go. Yes,
Talking
that is.
about money, let me ask you. So, do you think that if my family, if I come from old money and maybe I'm passionate about something that isn't relevant, but that is what I am passionate about, like maybe this industry is so choked that, but I still have the financial support because I'm coming from old money. Is it okay just to say that, well, because there is the financial support, let me still persevere through this industry, and then maybe once I'll be able to support myself, maybe one day I'll break through or something. Should that be a mentality for, let's say, a young person?
Well, if you come from old money, well, if you talk
Mhm.
about old money, this old money is where this money that you can trace the source, right? If you come from old money, you know, we have elders, like we have grown ups in the family, like we have the source of those monies, right? And people who have struggled to get this old money, they wouldn't want their monies just to go down the drain anyhow because of your selfish interest, because of one passion that you think is going to be successful. Which they can't even see the end of it. They can't even, if they simulate your passion into the future in terms of monetary gains, they don't see anything. They only see losses, right? Sometimes some families wouldn't even let you buy, wouldn't even agree to it in the first place. That discussion wouldn't even come up at family meetings in the first, even the first. That's why people come from old monies, right? This is what they do. As the kids are growing up, they develop their interest in the family business. You know what I'm saying? They develop the
Mhm.
family, like they develop the interest of the kids in the family business. So right after maybe high school, they start going to the office to accompany their dads and their granddads, right? Oh, they'll send you do this around for me, track this for me, call this person for me, follow me to this meeting, hold my briefcase. Oh, take minutes for me. So with time, they expose you to the family business. Right? They expose you, and if you feel you want to branch away from the family business, they try to convince you to stay in the business because that is the source of the wealth. But if you feel you've lost some passion, that that not in that is not in line with the family's objectives or goals. Sometimes it's very difficult for the family to support you. But these days, the family will support you, right? They will still continue to push you. And people from old money, they have connections, they have links, like they have like like they can talk to people to help you achieve your objectives. So that is how it is. So if you have the money, you have the connections, even the person is not being relevant, they still make it relevant, right? So the concept of family and links and so that is about society. That is about societal hierarchy. That's about societal hierarchy. That's the bourgeoisies, and the like. That is like, I don't want to say certain things. This is line. It's a live program, but sometimes you can impose certain goods and services on society, and you can shortchange certain people to make your goods relevant, to make your passion relevant. Yeah, so that is how the system. So people gain relevance using so many ways, so many means. When actually they tried, like, yeah, so that's it. Yes. So if you have money, so if you're from a very affluent family, the family can help you meet your goals and aspirations. You can meet your like they can help you like they can help you develop that kind of passion, and with time it will be in high demand, especially if you are from very affluent homes and families that are very influential, especially royalties and those kind of stuff. Yes. If you're royalty, they believe your put is genuine. It's royalty has some kind of genuinity attached to it. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's very easy for you to convince people. If you're from a very affluent home, it's very easy for you to convince people because of the genuinity, because of the kind of respect and command you earn in society. So that gives you a little step ahead of others. Yes. And we should accept this. It's high time we try to accept this fact. That is it. We should try to accept this fact. Like the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, the father was in real estate, introduced us into real estate. Right. So that is it. That is how it works.
Okay, Mrs. Kofi says, I met a lady, she did acting and finance as double major. She was passionate about acting, but she knew deep down that it may not pay all her bills as a starting actress. She was part of the Broadway show, but when COVID happened, and she couldn't act anymore, she's now working with a financial company. If she had only followed her passion, she would have still been jobless. Ranity, some passions are very relevant but don't fetch a lot of money. That's the only unfortunate and sad bit. For example, teachers. The rich people do that. If you have the riches to sustain you, why not? I feel money should not always be the most important thing to consider when deciding your passion or career path. I feel once you are well to do, you should be fine. And then Mrs. Coffee says, well to do is still money matter. Nah, LOL. Yeah, so I think that just in line with what Eugene was saying, I still believe that, well, if you have the money to do what you have to do, then maybe you may want to go ahead. But then um, money needs to be multiplied. The fact that you just have money doesn't mean that, well, you can go ahead and do anything because it's a resource and it gets depleted. And so if that passion you are following is not adding anything to that money or that old money you came to meet, then you may want to think again and then find something that would be able to at least renew or that source of the money, because a good man, like the Bible says, leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And so if your fathers or whoever has made some money and you have come to enjoy that money, you should not deplete that money just because you wanted to follow your passion. Especially, I know that there are some people who come from very wealthy families and then they decide, well, even when they are being groomed to toe the line of the family business, they will say no, 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 no. They want to do something else. I want to become a musician. They themselves knowing that they don't even have the voice to sing, but because they admired some musician somewhere, They are so passionate about becoming a musician that they end up just depleting their resources, and the music career also does not end them anywhere. And so I think that there needs to be that balance. But either ways, the money is very key. At the end of the day, I feel the whole thing about passion and everything is not all about money. We're also talking about legacy. You want to be able to leave a legacy and everything. But the point is that you cannot decide to focus only on legacy, and then go hungry. There has to be that balance. So everything must be balanced in this life. Even that money itself can also help you to even leave that legacy faster. Okay, so let me see. To be passionate, Gracie Ham says, to be passionate in carrying out services can take you to higher levels. Okay, to be passionate in carrying out services, which presupposes, Grace, are you presupposing that the task or the service is already relevant or in demand? Following your passion is the best move, but still you need the wealth to accomplish it. That's from Barbara. Yes, that's true. It's possible to put a price on your passion. Definitely, you have to. If your passion is not priced, or if it's not generating anything, it's a hobby. Being passionate might not bring you money now, but it can open doors of opportunities that would, at the end of the period, bring money. Doctors, doctors finish medical school and become Uber drivers. So that's interesting. Okay, so Eugene, we know
Yeah,
people like Mark Zuckerberg.
yeah,
We know people like Bill Gates,
yeah.
who were all in school and they dropped out to follow their passion. Now, this college student is being advised by the parents, okay, go and study IT, maybe software engineering, something. And they feel, oh, no, 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 no. That's not what I'm passionate about. My passion is in, let's say, criminal justice, because I see the plight of uh, maybe African American community, and I want to be able to be the voice and help them. Nobody is helping these people. And then the point is, okay, well, look at Mark Zuckerberg. He even dropped out of school. As for me, I'm even in the school and I'm just changing my course or something, deciding to pursue a different course that I think, but you know clearly that this field is very congested, or the opportunities out there are small. Do you think that it is justified to kind of look at the successes of these people? You even talked about Jack Ma. Is it enough to follow the successes of these people to justify the need or the desire to follow one's own passion?
Well, this is a very tough one, right? And if you want to follow certain people like Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, right? These are just a few people, right? And they're not and the world doesn't have a lot of these people around, like people who drop out of school and all of a sudden they boom, right? Like they become they just boom in wealth and in innovation. Right? It is a few people who have this kind of talent and skills and skill sets. It's not a lot of like it's not a lot of people in the world who drop out of school and maybe well, or maybe probably other people who drop out of school and they follow their passion, but they're successful in their own small ways, right? They can take care of their families and everything. So that is a different school of thought. But if you're using Bill Gates and this and is a Mark as an example, those are the extreme ends. Those ones are very extreme. But we can look at certain people like no names, but other people who got out of school and follow their passion, and maybe they are successful in their own small ways. Like they open up a business, right, and where they are managing and they are taking care of their families and everything, and they are doing fine. They are doing okay. That is cool. Maybe probably the person is not looking at Mark Zuckerberg or maybe just looking at somebody in his community who got out of school and like, oh, this guy followed his passion and is successful. So I think I can also follow my passion in criminal justice and also successful. Fine, you can be successful if you graduate with criminal justice. Nobody is saying if you have a criminal justice degree or you have a degree that is saturated in the market, you don't get a job to do. Nobody is saying that. All what you are saying is that you are comparing two occupations, which takes 4 years for you to graduate from, right? Which you put in the same effort, right? Well, let's say all the effort levels are the same, right? And we want to choose, and we know the pay structure out there, right? So, but now the question is the joy. It not comes down to the joy and the happiness which you gain, right? So people quantify the joy of like he places more value on the joy of being a criminal justice more than the joy of being in another field, right? And that has been the stance of people. It's like, oh no, if I don't do this criminal justice, I'm so passionate about people, like sociology. I want to help people. I want to go out there. I want to interact with people. You go, of course, everyone likes it, but I always tell people if you want to help somebody, it it shouldn't necessarily maybe passion is independent of what you study. I mean that's what I feel because if passion was highly correlated with what you study, then Mark wouldn't have dropped out of school. Bill Gates wouldn't have dropped out of school. You see what I'm saying? You drop out of school and follow their passion. They could have still remained in school and still follow their passion. It's two things. Maybe other feels school is maybe like more like a restricting environment that's not allow. Maybe they have too many classes that they are taking that is not allowing them to follow their dreams or anything. So probably they're trying to get the school out of their way and do certain things. But the internet doesn't tell us when they dropped out of school what were they doing. Did they take classes that were that would develop their passion? Nobody knows. Nobody knows when Mark dropped out of Harvard, whether he took some courses elsewhere. Right? This information is not known to anybody. Right? Nobody knows this. I don't know. If you know, you can tell me. That means when he dropped out of school, he went into this environment, he did this, he met this person, he went to this kind of training programs. Nobody knows. And I know he did those kind of things. He did all those things. Right? So he dropped out of school and went into a very specific area to develop himself. But you don't have that kind of opportunities or skills or opportunity sets or skill sets available to you, and you want to just follow a dream, a passion, which at the end of the day, if you don't even take those programs, you can still do what you want to do. Passion is inherent. If you want to help somebody, if you want to be a voice for the voiceless, if you want to be a forefront in fighting, right? All these celebrities that we put them, I will see them fronting, like movement and everything. Most of them I don't even have degrees that are even associated with the kind of movement they are following. So I'm trying to tell you, they have
Mhm.
different degrees elsewhere. But if you are intelligent, if you are passionate about something, you can learn. You can learn, right? It's about your ability to grab information quickly and use it for the betterment of the society. It's not about going to take a program where you wouldn't get a job to do, where you come out not getting a job to do. If you want to be a criminal, like if you want to be a criminal justice person, you don't have to study 4 years for you can take some courses that can help you, and you still have your very lucrative business you are doing, and join movements. You don't have to have a degree in just like journalism. I know people who are very good journalists, but I've never set foot in journalism school, right? So that is it. Well, there are some jobs like the health field and stuff like you need to go through formal training. But but if you want to be a voice for the voiceless, I don't see the reason why you go sit in the classroom because I want to teach you this is how you become a voice for the voiceless. No, it's a movement, right? It's a movement, and it is something that is inherent in you as a need. Like if you don't do it, you're not like you're not well or something. Like when you get addicted to something and you don't do it, you you become so you become so bored. Like you don't have like you want to do it and become free. Those desires are what we are talking about, and you don't. And sometimes I feel you don't necessarily have to be in the classroom setting to be able to meet certain passions and certain aspirations and goals. You can study and become relevant and still attain and still follow the passion that you want to follow. Than so I always tell people if you want to help, if you want to be a voice for the voice, like we are I'm a black person, so I can make a case for a black person. If you want to help the black people in the society, firstly you need to I need to be very influential. You need to have that kind of domineering, I need to be able to people have to be I need to be approachable, I need to be able to help in help financially and all those kind of stuff, right? And if you're passionate about something and we are going for a movement and you can't support, sometimes it's not all about man, I want to help you, I want to help you. And the person comes, fine, you want to help me, understand. So in what way can you help me? It's not word of mouth. Sometimes action speaks louder than words. You gather them, you provide lunch for them, you whip up their interest, then you move. That is where changes are made. That is when you can make enough change. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but yes.
Yes. um, yes. Let's see here. Every passion comes with a price. It might not necessarily be money. We must check the background of such people. Bill Gates is from an affluent family. Maybe their family sponsored or supported them financially. Probably they had the connection to even push them. Um, Thanks for bringing this up, Eugene. Do you think some people are making all the money but are unhappy because they are not passionate about what they are doing? And Miranda says it happens. So it's true, being passionate about something drives you to learn more about it. This question. Some people are making all the money but are unhappy. Is it the case because they are not passionate about what they are doing? Eugene, what do you think? Do you think there are people? I have my own opinion, but I want to hear yours. Are there people who are
Well,
making all the money but are unhappy because they are not passionate about what they are doing?
maybe it involves, if that is a very tough one, in the sense that people sometimes people don't follow people want to be in demand, but the joy of working is not there. Why? Because yeah, sometimes people are working, but they don't have that kind of zeal, that kind of enthusiasm associated. So there's that kind of trade-off. There's always that trade-off effect. Sometimes you choose a very relevant field, but that is not something that you actually want to do. right? So, and sometimes we, there's that kind of hobby, so people use hobby. So maybe probably a person working for a very big firm and they're not happy, so they devote more time to their hobbies to get a kind of satisfaction from it, to get a kind of happiness from there. And even sometimes you are passionate about something, but as the thing develops, you become overwhelmed and you get so tired and you be like, oh, I knew this thing, I was passionate about this thing, but this has gone to has become very mega. It has become too big for me to manage, and it becomes so stressful for you. Who says Bill Gates? He resigned from Microsoft.
Exactly the point.
Right? Okay. Pastors, I know this pastor in Ghana who said it's about Katanga. He was in pharmacy school and he wanted to be a pastor. It got to a time he resigned from his own church. Now the passion is not there. The passion is there. And the the job becomes so big for you to manage that it overwhelms you. And you see, when you develop the passion and the industry grows, it becomes very big. You don't. It's not a passion that you're managing. You're managing people. We should get this two. We should get these things differently. Initially, it was the passion that so the passion was driving the industry, was driving it, right? Now there's demand. Now you're employing people. Now the passion is already established. It's already grown. There's no so the passion. So at the passion, I reached the point where it cannot, maybe the marginal increase in the passion is so small. Right now, you're managing people. It's people that you're managing. So now the managing people and with the stress of it makes you even, you don't lose the passion, but you become stressed out. You get so stressed out and you be like, why did I even choose this? Did I even follow this passion in the first place? And people develop alternative passions. People, they're passionate about this thing, they establish this business, they move to something else. They develop other passions. They set up new businesses. Why? Because this one they feel this one is giving them too much trouble. They can't manage these people no more. Let me move on. So yes, it's
There
not a
is
passion. The people after the passion has developed, it's the man management. That is the issue. And there are a lot of examples that people resign from the company that is set up. Yes.
okay. So, um, Mr. Kofi says, especially in the diaspora, a lot of people are in the healthcare because it pays, but may not be happy or passionate about it. Now, I think that, let me see what Barbara is also saying. Of course, they are very unhappy. They are just doing what they do not because they are passionate about it. It's just because they earn something. Usually, these people drive the best cars and live in mansions, but they always look frustrated. Now, I feel that this question, there are two things kind of that I'm thinking about related to this question. Here I am, I'm trying to put myself in that shoe. I am doing this kind of job that I'm not passionate about, but it's paying the bills. But I'm unhappy doing that particular job. I feel, first of all, I made a decision to go into it. And so there is the need to find out, is it really about the job or maybe the kind of people I'm working with? So sometimes the unhappiness that the person may be feeling may not necessarily be because they are not passionate about the work they are doing, but it's possible that it's because of the nature of people they are working with. That's why they are always unhappy. And so when it comes to this issue of being unhappy in the workplace, I feel it goes beyond just something about, oh, I am passionate about this, I'm not passionate about it, but also about managing circumstances and all those things. Because trust me, you can be very passionate about something. Let's say you really want to be a nurse all throughout your life, from your childhood. You always want to take care of people and all those things, and then you eventually become a nurse, but the environment in which you are working could make you even fed up with what you are doing, or very unhappy or frustrated, especially if your administrator is mean. Maybe you have some doctors that are always on your neck, and maybe some colleagues that are not appreciating your effort and all those things. So I feel that the unhappiness, yes, it could be as a result of the fact that what you are doing you are not passionate about, but it could also be because of some external things, and you need to look and then find where exactly the unhappiness is coming from. If you are certain that, let's say, all your workers or your colleagues are super nice, the environment is very healthy and everything, and yet you don't feel fulfilled in what you are doing, then obviously it is as a result of the whole passion thing. Nevertheless, if the work you are doing is bringing in money, why do you have to be unhappy in the first place? Because you are earning all the money. Running from your question, it says the person is earning all the money. So if you are earning all the money and you are unhappy with the work you are doing, why wouldn't you start, what do you call it, channeling some of the money into something you are more passionate about? Like Bill Gates did, let's say, this whole Microsoft thing. I feel it is not, personally, when I look at the life of Bill Gates, I don't think his passion is in computers and writing code and software. I feel it was a means to an end. Because when you see the things that he has been doing for the past years, you can see that it's all about healthcare, and let's end this epidemic, let's go and do this vaccine, let's go and do that, let's go and do that. And you would ask yourself, so much for a software engineer. But obviously, no, you could see that this man's passion is not about his computers, because I hardly see him tweet about computers or even his own Microsoft. He hardly does. But he's always out there talking about malaria, he's talking about polio. Today he's in India, the following day he's there, he's there, he's there, he's there. And that's what is giving him satisfaction. He even tweets about people's books that he's reading, and yet he doesn't tweet about his own software and all those things. That tells me that personally, to him, he's more passionate about this healthcare and those things. But the computers was a means to an end. He saw an opportunity there, and he needed to grab that opportunity to take him to the level where he will have enough to be able to pursue his real passion. And so for what reason would Bill Gates be called when there is coronavirus? Is he a scientist? No, but it's because he is passionate about the field and has committed billions of dollars to kind of developing vaccines and promoting health and all those things. And because of those, and he's talking about climate change and all those things. Contrary to Elon Musk, who is always tweeting about his SpaceX and his Tesla cars and lately Bitcoin and all those things, you can clearly see where their interests are aligned and what they are passionate about. So just as they used those things as means to an end, you don't also sit in your misery and suffer. The point is you are choosing to suffer, because every day as you go to that work and you're unhappy, I believe you have the choice of starting to do something that is at least in line with what will give you fulfillment but then you are still keeping this day job. Gradually, it becomes part time, and then after a while, you leave it all together because you can now fully sustain this new thing you have going on. And if it is also about the whole passion thing, sometimes I also feel that some people also misunderstand admiration for passion. The fact that maybe somebody I knew was a doctor and I really admired the person, it makes them think, oh, I'm passionate about medicine. Somebody reads about Martin Luther King and all the things that he did and going through Selma and all those things and being assassinated, and they feel, oh, this is a powerful guy. I wish I could do the things he did. Not necessarily because they are passionate about the thing, but they admire the person's courage and the things that the person did. And so all too soon they find themselves towing that line only to realize that they've hit a wall. The kind of satisfaction they were expecting to derive from this particular thing, it is not that way. And so I believe that when it comes to the issue of passion, it goes, people need to kind of drill down a little more further than they already do. All right. I think our time is already fast spent, and yet we are not done with our discussion. We will continue this discussion in the coming week. I think fulfillment is the underlying point. And I was going to say same. Bill Gates and even Mark Zuckerberg, they may not necessarily be following their purpose or passion, but a business opportunity. Exactly the point. So I feel it is more about where the demand is first, and then use that to fuel. There are some other questions that we will need to talk about, but then because of our time, I'll just leave you to say your final words, Eugene, and then we'll come again in the coming week to continue this discussion on passion, and because we need to put things into practical perspectives, and especially guiding people, particularly college students and people who are coming into the high schools, those who are deciding on a career path and all those things, how to really operationalize and go around these things. And those will be for what do you call it, the coming weeks. And so, your final thoughts on what has come in so far, Eugene, before we sign up.
Well, to conclude, what I'll say, right, passion is very important because you need a joy and satisfaction in whatever you do. But people have to know and understand that we live in a world where you you have some kind of economic like superiority in order to be able to live, right? And able to be able to enjoy the world that we live in, right? And we must first of all look at what is relevant, what is in high demand, and try to channel our passions into those kind of areas. Because, as I say, passion is an interest, right? And you can't tell me you're only interested in one thing. You can be interested in a spectrum of things. So you try to identify which of those, on that spectrum, which of them is more relevant and is in demand. Then try to put in more effort towards that thing. So that your time, your effort wouldn't be in vain, right? And sometimes some of our passions are just ordinary hobbies that we enjoy doing, right? And nobody is saying let go of all your hobbies. You can still do your hobbies, but find that passion of yours that is very in high demand, and invest a lot of time and effort in it, so that you wouldn't end up saying I've just wasted my time for nothing, right? So that is what I have to say. We should first look at the relevance of what we want to do. We should channel our energies and efforts into it, and it will give us the same satisfaction as what we want to do. Because that is it. Because sometimes money can buy some sort of happiness, not all happiness, but sometimes can give a kind of fulfillment. You see your kids happy, you're also happy.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Sometimes money can buy the satisfaction. I know. The last time we were saying that it's only broke men who say that, well, money does not buy happiness. It buys. Money buys. It buys happiness. If you don't have it, you would think it doesn't, but it does. So the fulfillment and everything that you're looking for, I believe that if you are making enough money from where you are working, although it might not be what you planned to do right from the get-go, it would still be able to get you that fulfillment because you can't tell me that it's only a particular thing that is going to bring you fulfillment in this life. Well, maybe it might not be your job, but it may be helping take care of somebody, helping to solve some problem in the world or something. And trust me, your money can do that. So, like Eugene said, we need to look for what is relevant and then channel our passion. In the coming week, we are going to talk about things like how to identify your passion or the things that you are passionate about, how to pursue them if it is not in line with what is happening, how to really channel your energy so that you get both of the best of both worlds by first enjoying the passion and also utilizing or channeling that passion into something that will be in demand. Eugene put it out there vaguely, so you have to channel the passion to something that is relevant. So how are we going to do that? And so tell a friend to tell a friend that in the coming week we will be discussing these issues. I know that it's a very important topic for many young people, and all too soon our time is up. We have even exceeded our time by a little. Grace says advice by Grace. You couldn't have said it any better. Money it buys fulfillment. If you are broke, sit down and say what you want to say. But money buys. Money bring happiness, Papa. Hey, see how miserable you are when you go broke. And sometimes money brings sadness. Yes, sometimes. And usually that is money that you do not acquire through the right means. If you made honest money, it is not going to bring you sadness. People may be crying in a Range Rover and wiping their tears with Gucci handkerchief and placing the wet handkerchief into a Louis Vuitton bag. Hey, Rani, this but even that, the feeling is different, oh, Eugene. Can you imagine? Like you are sitting in, let's say, a Bentley and you are crying and wiping your tears with a Gucci handkerchief. Even the feeling, when you go and to buy even bed sheets, you see that even the cotton is different. We have 300 and 500 and or 1,000 and whatever, all the nets. So they are all different. And so based on the level of this thing, even the wiping of the tears, it feels different. If, if you are using this ordinary handkerchief, that's when you will see that money, you may be crying, but even your cry is still better than someone who doesn't have it. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're not following FBN, please do so that you don't miss out on these awesome discussions that we enjoy. Today, we've been blessed all throughout the morning up till now. And it's been awesome. And I know that those of you who have been able to join us so far on FBN today, you have really benefited because we've had some amazing discussions previously, and so please click the follow. Also go to YouTube and follow Faith Broadcasters Network. Subscribe and click the notification bell to make sure that whenever FBN goes live, you are notified and you can watch, go real watch, and share with your friends. If these topics come up in your discussions, you can share. You can come to FBN page and look for some of the relevant videos and share with them so that they will also be blessed. We'll come your way again next week with a continuation of our discussion on passion and demand or relevance. But until we meet again, don't forget that tomorrow is Gospel City. Monday there is Heavenly Dew, Manna at noon, and on Wednesday to Heavenly Dew, Manna at noon, and on Friday there is Manna at noon, and then on Saturday again. So the cycle goes on and on and on and on. I'll see you on Gospel City. At least we'll all be enjoying ourselves tomorrow on Gospel City at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or is it Eastern Daylight Time? One of them. So until we see each other tomorrow, stay blessed and be good. God bless you. Nana Harrison, I sign out.